fourth title defense. His opponent, former WBA champion Rocky Lockridge, who has waged a successful comeback campaign and is looking to depose Michael from the IBF throne when they meet. Of today's IBF Junior Lightweight Championship fight. We're 30 miles outside of London. This is the country home of the royal family, a major tourist attraction, as is this man, who has been mobbed everywhere he's been since getting off the plane at Heathrow Airport the other day. In fact, Pacheco mania has really caught on. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. And amidst this quaint setting, we're getting ready for boxing. Barry Michael, an Australian born in London, will defend his IBF Junior Lightweight Championship as he goes up against a former champ in Rocky Lockridge. And there are several questions concerning Michael. First of all, the long layoff. He has not fought since last August. And the question of the quality of the opposition, the people that he has fought to get to this point.
Well, I think the quality of the opposition is the most important point. You can't get to 32 years of age and never have faced an opponent of the quality of Rocky Lockridge, who has fought for the title 7 times. What that means is that for the first time in his long professional career, Barry is going to be facing a top-quality opponent without having any previous experience in that.
And Lockridge, on the other hand, is attempting to turn it around since that loss to Julio Cesar Chavez last August.
Well, Rocky's problem is a little bit different. He's adopted a pity-pat style where he doesn't go all out. That would result in a decision which may or may not be favorable for him here in London.
All right, let's take a look at the Fight Doctor RX, a concept that has really caught on in the Windsor area.
For Rocky Lockridge, he has to be more aggressive, and he has to throw more meaningful punches, and he has to try for an early knockout.
And what about the opponent, Michael?
He has to box cleverly at the beginning, waiting for Rocky to get tired, because Barry is a big finisher, and he wants to go to the 15-round decision.
Wait a minute, Ferd. We're back inside Blazers Disco. The building was thoroughly searched following the bomb threat. Local police now have given the go-ahead to resume, so the crowd is filing back. Rocky Lockridge returned to the locker room. I'm told that Barry Michael never did leave. He just sat there and waited it out, so did not take it seriously. Can you recall any similar situation where a bomb threat has delayed a fight?
Never right before a fight. Certainly there were some the day before and etc., but never during, right before a fight. And the effect, psychological and physiological, on the fighters is extensive. Not only are they completely put off of their game plan, survival is at hand, but Rocky went outside in the cold. That means he has to come back in, warm up again, get himself all psyched to fight again. Whereas the other fighter, Barry Michael, did not leave. He's calm and cool, and he did not get that chilling cold that there is outside. Could be a factor in the fight, but certainly it casts a completely different light on this fight.
I know Rocky headed to the exit. In fact, sat in a car for the 10-15-minute delay, so they will have to go through some kind of extensive warm-up. We'll be back here in Windsor, England, with the fight. In just Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. We are live at Windsor, England. A bomb scare delaying the Barry Michael, Rocky Lockridge IBF Junior Lightweight title fight. Right now, let's go to the dressing room of Rocky Lockridge, who is still in the process of warming up, getting ready. Alongside him is his manager, Lou Duva. And what is Duva's reaction to the bomb scare delay? How will this affect
Well, this is
Rocky
the first
Lockridge?
for me with a potential bomb scare over here, but we come to London to win the title. Rocky's in good shape. We walked up and down these stairs, 5 stories up and down, but we can stand out there. We'll get in the ring, and we're going to do the fight out there. Rocky's in real good shape, and regardless of what's what, Rocky's here to win the title, and he's going to go out there punching. I hope it's a good fight out there tonight.
All right, the manager, trainer of Rocky Lockridge, George Benton, helping the fighter get the gloves on. What'd you do during the delay, Lou?
Well, we were downstairs. We were shadow boxing down there. We were put in a police car because it was a little chilly down there. And after they told us it was okay to come up, I still warmed them up underneath the stands over here. And we walked up 5 sets of stairs. He's in good shape. He's sweating real good. I'm not concerned about it. Rocky will take it out on somebody out there, so look for Rocky to win the title.
Well, most unusual circumstances here in Windsor, England, and we'll be back with Rocky Lockridge and Barry Michael vying for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship right after we pause for these messages. Champion Rocky Lockridge since turning pro 9 years ago. After failing in 2 title shots in the featherweight division, Rocky moved up in weight to face Roger Mayweather for the Junior Lightweight Championship. Oh, right hand by Lockridge, and Mayweather is down! The champion Mayweather is down in this opening round!
He's not getting up! He's not getting up! We've got a new champion!
Following 2 successful title defenses, Lockridge took on Wilfredo Gomez in his native Puerto Rico. Lockridge was the aggressor, dominating the retreating challenger. But the hometown crowd spurred Gomez onto a highly controversial 15-round decision. In his last championship bout, Lockridge made a run at WBC Junior Lightweight Champion Julio Cesar Chavez. Lockridge got off slowly and never did recover. In his last outing, last May in Corpus Christi, Texas, Rocky stopped Dennis Cruz in 7 rounds, bringing us to today with the 28-year-old out of Tacoma, Washington, hoping to become a 2-time champion by virtue of a victory over Barry Michael.
Barry Michaels is 32 years old. He hasn't fought in a year. He certainly has never fought anybody of your category. You think that's a great psychological advantage to you? And do you feel you need a knockout to win here?
Absolutely, most definitely, Freddie. I need a knockout to win. It's mandatory as far as I'm concerned. I've been denied a variety of different times. I refuse to be denied this time around. He's an old man. He's been inactive for a year's time, and I'll take full advantage of that and knocking him out.
Standing in the way of the championship dreams of Rocky Lockridge is Barry Michael, hailing from Australia, but now living in London. Michael is the IBF Junior Lightweight Champion, but it is he who seeks to be recognized. Though making his 4th title defense, Michael has fought mainly down under, and he prides himself on never taking account, although once earlier in his career he was stopped on cuts. Michael's most recent title defense was 1 year ago, but he doesn't feel that the long layoff will hurt.
Call you as Rocky Lockridge versus Crocodile Dundee, but you are at a disadvantage in that you have not fought for a year and you're much older than Rocky Lockridge. Do you consider this a disadvantage?
Ferdy, I don't see this as a disadvantage at all because, you know, I've been training for fights since last August when I fought last. I'm 32 now, but I feel as I've got a body of a 25-year-old. I look after myself very well. I know I've studied a lot of nutrition. I eat well. I train very hard. And as I said, I've been training very hard for the last 10 months for fights that haven't eventuated, and I'm in perfect physical condition.
Now, you're not a knockout puncher. Do you think you can get a decision in England? Is it more to your favor that you're fighting here?
I think, you know, it's impartial territory, really. I'm an Australian, Rocky's an American. We've got an American judge, an English judge, and I think an Italian judge. I don't think it's going to matter a great deal. I think the person who wins the fight will get the decision, and I believe that's going to be me. I'm a 15-round fighter, and you know, I'm going to win this fight tonight. Don't worry. It's the longer the fight goes, the better it is on my part. You know, the last 5 rounds, I always finish strong. Even though I haven't fought for 10 months, you know, if it goes 15 rounds, I'll be on top in the last few rounds.
You have an excellent record. Is it true that 5 of those people that you fought were alligators?
A misguided attempt at humor by the fight doctor, and we are awaiting the appearance of Rocky Lockridge and Barry Michael. For those of you who were not with us earlier, we'll repeat. We are back inside Blazers Disco, located in Windsor, England, right across from Windsor Castle. The building was thoroughly searched following a bomb scare. Local police then gave the go-ahead to resume, and now the fighters are making their way. Here comes Rocky Lockridge, who, as Lou Duva told you just a couple of minutes ago, left the building and spent the 10-15 minutes in a police car as he waited for the go-ahead while Barry Michael remained in the locker room.
A tribute to his ice-cold blood and the British courage in the face of danger, but not too smart a move in view of the fact that all of us were outside. And here is Rocky Lockridge.
Rocky Lockridge, who has won 40 and lost 5, 33 by knockout, 28 years old, from Tacoma, Washington. And here comes the IBF Junior Lightweight Champion, the veteran Barry Michael, 32 years old, from London, now living in Australia. Barry Michael won the IBF title back in July of '85 with a 15-round decision over fellow Aussie Lester Ellis. He has successfully defended 3 times. His last fight last August in Manchester, England, when he won a 12-round decision over Najib Dehu to defend his title. So it has been a long layoff. Fought only twice in 1986, and this is his first fight since last August. We're set for the introduction, so let us go to Mike Shenfield.
Now, gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blazers in Royal Windsor for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. The judges for this contest, ladies and gentlemen, from Italy, Walter Cavalieri; from the United States, Bob Cox; and from London, England, Roland Dakin. The IBF supervisor, ladies and gentlemen, from America, Mr. Harold Stone; and the man in charge of the ring, referee Joe Santapia from the United States. The timekeeper, Mr. Tom Powell, BM of England. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Warren presents a junior lightweight contest of 15 3-minute rounds for the Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Presenting in this corner, ladies and gentlemen, from the United States, the challenger, weighing in at 128¼ pounds, with a record of 40 wins, 5 losses, and 33 knockouts, the former junior lightweight champion, Rocky Lockridge. And from Australia, ladies and gentlemen, now living in London, weighing in at 130 pounds, with a record of 48 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws, and 16 knockouts, making his 4th title defense, the IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Barry Michael. "15 3-minute rounds, ladies and gentlemen."
And a look at the tail of the tape. Lockridge tipping the scales at 128¼ Michael at 130. At one time, he weighed 142 pounds. He was fighting then as a combination lightweight and junior welterweight. Usually boxers move up in weight, and here's Barry Michael, who slipped down as he got older.
And did so successfully, and it is an unusual thing. Absolutely unusual. That, by the way, is his father with him. Yet another example of a father working with a boxer.
So this part of NBC's All England Sports Day earlier at Wembley Stadium. I know many of you saw the Rams defeat the Broncos 28-27. Things a bit more on the quiet side at Wembley as compared to what took place here earlier. But we are now underway. This is round 1, scheduled for 15. And both Michael and Lockridge have been slow starters, except in Lockridge's case, that 1-round knockout of Roger Mayweather.
I think he knows this is his last time up. He has certainly had enough chances at the championship. He's fighting a guy that should be cold meat for him, but he's a tough, tough little guy, this Barry Michael. Thing to look for almost immediately is Rocky Lockridge throwing his meaningful shots, or is he going to start pity-patting up? Oh, he's throwing hard just then.
And able to score with the uppercut. Under IBF rules, scoring is on the 10-point must system, handled by the 3 judges. The 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. There's no standing 8 count. There is a mandatory 8, and the bell saves the fighter only in the final round.
Rocky Lockridge coming in with his head down, knowing that Barry Michael is very vulnerable to cuts.
And Lockridge getting the right hand in. just past the midway point. Round number 1.
Trickle of blood coming from the nose of Barry Michael, who has been receiving some punishment from Rocky Lockridge.
Good combination by Lockridge.
This is an all-business round. Rocky did not come here to stay 15, it's obvious.
Less than a minute to go in this first round, and a strong opener for Lockridge. Chant for Barry Michael.
Barry Michael standing straight up. Just a great target for a hook, which is the weapon that Rocky Lockridge loves to use as a knockout punch.
Final seconds, first round, and we will stay right here and go to the corner of Rocky Lockridge. Very strong first round for Lockridge.
You're boxing like a champ out there now, baby. To the body. Try to stop those punches. Now listen, with the low hand right, you're throwing it a little too wide. That water, Ace. The water. Pull it in tight. See, you're throwing it too wide. So give me that. Pull it in tight, right? Okay. Now listen. Now don't carry your left hand so low. Don't sling your left hand around so low. I got it. Make it even right in. Carry your left hand a little better, right? Now stay right on top of it. Hey, now your fight is crowding, see, because he's trying to hit you with the long punch. Yeah, okay, hold those elbows in. Hold those elbows in. Right in the middle. Now listen, the uppercut is going to work for you. Both hands up the middle, and then hit him over the top with something. All right? Okay. Carry that left hand up a little bit better. Hey, stay on top of him. Come on. Let's go, Jay. Hold those elbows in. Hold those elbows in. Come on.
Hold those elbows in, says Lou Duba. Also, Rocky listening to the advice of George Benton. And this is round 2. We are live from Windsor, England on NBC Sports World.
The game plan was to crowd Barry Michael coming up the middle and then with the hooks on the outside. Michael is certainly standing there just ready to receive those hooks. He doesn't bend down. He has no attempt to avoid the hooks of Rocky Lockridge thus far.
Most of the fights of Barry Michael have taken place in Australia. He has been around. This is 14th year as a professional boxer, a career that began in June of 1973. His last loss was July of '82, dropping a 15-round decision to Claude Noel in Melbourne, Australia.
But this is the first time he's fought an opponent of the quality of Rocky Lockridge, and that may be the most important factor in this fight. Michael showing no motion, no idea of how to get away from Rocky Lockridge, who plants his feet and goes to work like a man hacking a tree down.
And we're approaching a minute to go in the second round. It is scheduled for 15. Lockridge said earlier that he feels he'll need a knockout.
He's certainly fighting that way because it's doubtful if he can fight with this kind of strength through 15 rounds. And this tough little nut, Barry Michael, likes to fight in the last 7-8 rounds. So right now, he's taking a shellacking as Barry Michael. Every left hook goes right in there. He doesn't seem to know how to put his glove up to protect against a hook. Rocky slowing down again.
Again, the left hook by Lockridge. And we're final seconds of the second round.
Come on, little Rocky. Come on, little Rocky. Get it, Rocky. Come on, Rocky.
That is it. Round 2. Barry Michael, 32 years old, an Australian, now living in London with his wife, Sandy. And there's Sandy here at the ringside. And let's listen in on the corner of Barry Michael.
Give us the sponge.
Sponge, come on.
Back of the neck.
Keep him working.
Mouth guard.
Keep him working.
Well, a very quiet corner as opposed to what took place in Rocky Lockridge's corner between the first and second round.
You have to expect that any man who's got that as cold a blood as to stay in his dressing room when there's a bomb threat is not going to get too excited about the bombs of Rocky Lockridge. He got no instructions in the corner. He just said, keep him working.
That bomb threat about an hour ago here at the Blazers nightclub in Windsor, England. This is a popular night spot in the area. We're just across the way from historic Windsor Castle. This is round 3, along with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, Marv Albert. What does the fight doctor scorecard tell us?
Both rounds were easily for Rocky, 20-18. I think it's the intention of Barry Michael, certainly from listening to his corner, to let Rocky work his way for the first 3 or 4 rounds at least. Barry does look like a man used to taking a beating on the way to a victory, and he's certainly acting that way now.
Michael says despite his advanced age, and he's 32 years old, he's punching harder than ever. He says when he was younger, he moved around more. Now he stays his ground, claims he puts more power into his punches, perhaps the power of positive thinking on the part of Barry Michael.
I think anyone who took a good look at his wife at ringside understands there's a great deal more motivation in his life these days.
And the fight doctor with a nice sexist comment.
This tactic of Barry Michael by his corner saying, put your shoulder in there, bull him around. They want to get Rocky Lockridge tired. It is a brisk pace that Rocky Lockridge is maintaining.
Less than a minute to go, round 3. Barry Michael has never been down as a professional. He was stopped in the 7th round on cuts. That was in a fight back in 1981.
Well, off of what we've seen through 3 rounds, I can certainly believe that. He's taken some of Rocky's best punches, has not even blinked.
And we've come to the end of round 3. Seeing last night, Ferdy, in Miami, Aaron Pryor in his comeback attempt was stopped by Bobby Joe Young in round 7. Is that it now for the Hawk, Aaron Pryor?
Well, it should be. He tried much too soon to come back against a fighter that he should have beaten.
Aaron Pryor in his comeback from drug problems, personal difficulties, stopped last night by Bobby Joe Young. this is round 4. Rocky Lockridge and Barry Michael here in Windsor, England. Michael defending his IBF junior lightweight title. Rocky Lockridge, a former junior lightweight champion. Lockridge starting fast over the first 3 rounds, particularly the first 2 where he had his way. Local bookies in the London area have called this a pick'em fight. Michael is the crowd favorite since he is now living in London.
Rocky's just about putting in everything he wants, exactly where he wants it, and as strong as he wants it, and Michael is not moving. I mean, he just keeps getting hit. What a way to absorb punishment, this gritty Barry Michael. And after a trickle of bleeding from the nose in the first round, it has not bled again.
We've been talking about the veteran status of Barry Michael. Comes in at 48-8, 2 draws, only 16 knockouts. Obviously not a knockout puncher. He has fought 484 rounds going into today's action.
It's turned his hair white.
And here in England, we're coming up on 10:30 p.m. We are live on NBC Sports World. And this is round 4 action.
First signs of weariness on the part of Rocky Lockridge. Just evidence just then. He is getting tired of punching on this gritty guy, and nothing is happening to him.
And Lockridge able to double up with that right hand.
Well, there's not much art to this. It's just pure warfare.
And I'll be headed to Kansas City for the baseball pregame show on Tuesday night. And we'll be chatting with Vic Janowicz, who won the Heisman Trophy out of Ohio State in the early 50s, a man who played both baseball and football within 1 year. And the last man to do it since the attempt coming up by Bo Jackson. So it's primetime baseball Tuesday night here on NBC. This is round 5. In the blue, it is the IBF junior lightweight champion Barry Michael. And in the maroon, Rocky Lockridge, one-time WBA junior lightweight title holder. What do you have on the scorecard?
A shutout so far for Rocky, 40-36. But I feel that Rocky's getting tired and a little bit disappointed that he can't get him out. Psychologically, he is getting a little bit weary.
And as Rocky discussed with us the other day, he admitted that in some past fights where he did not get his way after the early rounds, he would psychologically let down and have some difficulties.
I think we've seen that in almost every fight we've done with him, except that one-round knockout over Roger Mayweather.
Lockridge won the title back in February of '84 when he knocked out Mayweather. In the first round, he successfully defended twice against Taejin Moon in Anchorage, Alaska, and then Kamel Bu Ali in Italy. Rocky has certainly seen the world since beginning his professional boxing career.
He almost saw the stratosphere today if that bomb had gone off.
A bomb threat earlier today here at the arena in Windsor. And following the thorough search and after the evacuation, crowd filed back in, and we were able to get underway.
You did not mention that the thorough search was conducted by Marv Albert and Freddie Pacheco before we came in and sat down. This fight continues on the same exact course, except that Barry is beginning slowly to get his way. Barry Michael slowly fighting harder and harder. Rocky wearing out faster and faster.
This was Barry Michael's strategy in his previous fight against Najib Dahu when he won a 12-round decision last August here in England. Started slowly, and then Dahu wore down. Of course, Rocky Lockridge in a different category in terms of quality than Dahu, but perhaps similar strategy.
It certainly is the same strategy. It's almost a copy of the rope-a-dope that Ali did in the jungle. He goes right to the ropes. He lets the other guy punch as hard as he wants. Every once in a while, a crisp right hand lands.
So that is the end of round number 5. And Lou Duva now chatting with Rocky Lockridge.
This guy's got a hell of a chin. Yeah. All right, now look, Rocky. Hit this guy in the body. Then steal him in the chin every now and then. The guy got a good chin, but he ain't taking nothing in the body. You understand? Okay. Now look, hold up, Rocky.
Rocky Lockridge driving Barry Michael to the ropes midway through the 5th round.
And that kind of work should be wearing out Barry Michaels. The reverse is happening. The man that's doing the punching is wearing out. An unusual bit of strategy that's backfiring.
Just hit him in the body. Right?
Drink it, drink it, drink it. Drink it. Okay. Come on, drink it, drink it.
Stay right on top. Stay right on top.
That's okay.
Now, look,
we got it.
From your chin, now you're still getting hit with
Come on. All right, let's go. Rock, stay low with your hand. Put your hands up and go to the body with this guy. Come on, go to the body with this guy.
And this is round number 6.
Various factors are coming into play that we would point out. The ring lights are much lower. They're almost 6 feet over this ring, whereas they're usually way up high. Very hot for television, wearing out both fighters. Lou Duva is giving his fighter water to drink, not to spit out, which is very unusual. You never see that in the corner, in an attempt to keep his fighter hydrated under these lights.
And in the past, stamina has been a question mark. When you talk about Rocky Lockridge, in fact, they had a conditioning expert, Tim Hallmark, working with Rocky for some time. But those lights do not help the cause.
And neither does Barry Michael, who seems on the verge of winning rounds, just losing them by a little bit because just the volume of punches of Rocky Lockridge. But now he's beginning to come on, punching much more effectively off the ropes.
Michael successful in digging to the body of Lockridge, particularly with that left hand.
And now it's Barry Michael who's putting his head in.
Under a minute to go in this round 6, scheduled for 15. Combination by Michael. Michael able to spin Lockridge around.
For the first time in this fight, he's done what the corner wanted him to, spin him around and get off the ropes. That's a measure of the weakness of Lockridge, that he can do that to him.
And Lockridge with the combination. And then Michael able to spin him. We'll be back right after these words. Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. We're back in Windsor, England. This is round number 7. And this part of NBC's All England Sports Day. Earlier at Wembley Stadium, they had 80,000 turn out for a National Football League game. The Rams beating the Broncos 28-27. As NFL football has caught on here in England.
I wonder if you're a Brit, who you root for. I mean, how can you figure out whether Denver or Los Angeles is somebody you care about?
Well, last year, the Chicago Bears were here featuring the refrigerator, William Perry, who they refer to as the Icebox.
Well,
he was the big favorite.
That's understandable because Brits like gangster films, and the Chicago Bears are a tough club.
And I'm told the biggest cheer earlier today at Wembley was for the appearance of the cheerleaders of the Los Angeles Rams.
I heartily agree.
What does the scorecard show?
60-55 Rocky. The last round I gave even because Michaels was just starting to fight back and win the round when Rocky put on a big rally at the end. But he has said that he wants to wait till round 8 to open up. That's when he opens up.
Scoring on the 10-point must system handled by the 3 judges. The referee, Joe Santarpia, does not score. The judges, Roland Dakin from London, Walter Cavalieri from Italy, and Robert Cox from Phoenix, Arizona. Rocky Lockridge in the maroon, and Barry Michael in the blue.
Rocky reverting to that style of punching very softly and then all of a sudden zapping a hard punch. He may have decided to take a round off because all that heavy punching didn't have its effect on Barry Michael.
Again, the left hook of Lockridge finding its mark. Meanwhile, Michael continues to go to the body, and that has satisfied his corner.
He's working on the theory that Rocky is getting tired and the body shots are going to make it just what he wants after round 8. I must say that's a calculated risk, especially in scoring the way it is all over the world. You just don't know. You certainly don't want to give away the first half of the fight.
And we are 7 rounds on the way to a scheduled 15. Rocky Lockridge again able to back up Barry Michael.
And this is what Rocky does so well. Backs him right into the corner. Doesn't let him get away. Doesn't let him spin and then just punches away. Look at the way he put his head in there. Puts his head, puts his hooks, and he is powerless as Barry Michael to get away from that attack. He should have spun out, but he doesn't know how.
Now look, he's got to start to slow right down. This is the 8th.
Your chin down when you stood off him and keep him working. You'll do it.
Give me that. Mouth guard. That's
And it is round 8, Barry Michael and Rocky Lockridge.
And finally, his corner said, you've got to start now. I do believe he's got to start now. A strange tactic for a man who's not known for winning by knockout. I mean, why give away the first 7 rounds? It's impossible to think.
Barry Michael with only 16 knockouts in his 58 fights. Rocky Lockridge comes in at 40-5, 33 by KO. His last fight this past May, he stopped Dennis Cruz in the 7th round in Corpus Christi, Texas. Last October, he won by decision over Felipe Roscoe in Atlantic City. And his prior fight, he lost by decision to Julio Cesar Chavez, that for the WBC junior lightweight crown.
Now Michael's corner is starting to exhort him to get off the ropes. The punishment is starting to build up. Even as tough and hardy a man as Barry Michaels can only take so much on those ropes. I think he's had a full tank of that.
Waiting in the wings to face the winner of this bout is either Johnny De La Rosa or Barry McGuigan, looking to make it back after 13 months of inactivity. In fact, he is ringside, the WBA, former WBA featherweight champion. Michael's corner screaming, turn him around. He's been able to do that only a couple of times, been able to spin Lockridge away.
He's just being overpowered by Rocky Lockridge.
Effective combination by Lockridge.
Rocky Lockridge is really humming now.
Barry Michael just looked toward his corner with a look of disgust.
He can't keep Rocky Lockridge off, and Rocky Lockridge has found his second win. Where he was going downhill, he sucked it up, and he's come back this round.
And that is it for the 8th round. Right after the 8th round, the fight was stopped. It appeared that Barry Michael was hurting, and it appeared, well, let's pick up the announcement.
At the end of round 8, ladies and gentlemen, Michael is unable to continue. The winner by a technical knockout, and the new junior lightweight champion of the world, Rocky Lockridge.
So Rocky Lockridge has won the IBF Junior Lightweight title. The referee, Joe Santopia, just informed us that Michael quit. He decided he had had it, and I had mentioned the look of disgust on his face. He looked as if he were helpless against Rocky Lockridge during that 8th round. And apparently the punishing punches in round number 8 convinced Barry Michael that that would be it. As we take a look, this is where Michael was trapped along the ropes and took a pounding. Some combinations by Lockridge, who, as Ferdy mentioned, picked up the steam after the good start. He did tail off. It appeared that Michael was getting back into it, but then Lockridge able to accelerate the pace, and Barry Michael said that is it, and the fight was stopped following round number 8. So Rocky Lockridge, who at one time was the WBA Junior Lightweight champion, now has won the IBF crown. Rocky Lockridge stopping Barry Michael here in Windsor, England. And the fight doctor will be back to talk with the new champion right after these words. We're back in Windsor, England, where just a moment ago, Rocky Lockridge was able to stop Barry Michael. The bout stopped after the 8th round. Let's go to the ring. Here's Ferdy and Rocky.
Rocky, that was one of the most workmanlike jobs I've ever seen you do. You just looked like a guy cutting down a tree. Did you feel that strength?
I felt very strong, Ferdy, but believe it or not, I really didn't get started until that particular round where they stopped it.
You looked like you got a little weary of punching him, and then you picked it up in that round. Looked like you just went off.
I realized that I had to pick it up. I was a challenger, and like I stated earlier, I wouldn't allow myself to be denied this go around. So, you know, like I stated earlier, I had to stop. You know, the referee had to either stop the fight or I had to knock him out.
There were many people at ringside who had it a shutout, that you man virtually did not win a round. Did you feel that he won a round?
No, actually not at all, Ferdy. I feel like in certain parts of the fight, I picked it up tremendously to where if he was ahead, I came back to win that round.
All right. You've been under the tutelage of Lou Duva all these years, and you've listened to him. Where do we go from here, Lou Duva?
Well, right now, you know, Rocky's the champ. Everybody's seen him out there. They know he's here to stay. I mean, the guy's in tremendous shape. I don't know, he's got a fountain of youth someplace. He's hiding on me someplace, but we're ready to fight anybody.
51
and I'll tell you
fights.
something. And we'd like to fight McGuigan, too. We get
51
him in the
fights,
ring.
Freddie. I hardly believe it. I don't feel like I've been in the business that long. I like to state one thing to all young athletes coming up. Realize your full potential. Be the best you can possibly be, and that is to say no to drugs and alcohol. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Amen to that. And back to Marv Albert at ringside.
Barry Michael. Right after we pause for these words. Back to Windsor, England, some 30 miles outside of London. Moments ago, Rocky Lockridge stopped Barry Michael. It's officially a 9th round TKO. Michael deciding not to go on following the 8th round. So Rocky Lockridge is the new IBF Junior lightweight champion. Ferdy is alongside Barry Michael. Let's get back to the ring.
Barry, that has to be one of your toughest fights.
Well, 30 was certainly the last, that's for sure.
It's the last fight in your career.
It is 30. Rocky broke me nose in the first or the second round. He broke my eardrum in about the third, my right eardrum. He was just, you know, I haven't fought for a year, but I'm not making any excuses. On the night, he was a better fighter. You know, I'm 32 years old. I think it's about time I started promoting fights instead of actually getting in the ring.
Well, it's much safer except if they give you a bomb scare, but you did perform nobly. I'm sure you are very happy that he's through fighting.
Yes, I am. I'm glad it's all over.
All right.
There's one thing I'd like to say. I went out after 60 fights without ever taking an 8 count. I possibly could have gone on another round or two, but, you know, I think it was pointless. But I'd just like to say Rocky's a great little fighter, and I wish him all the best. I'm sorry that my first chance on American TV, it's been my life ambition. It's taken me 15 years to get the opportunity, and it was a bit late.
You did well. You proved yourself well, and back to Marv Albert at ringside.
All right, Ferdy, candid statements by Barry Michael, who, as you heard, said his nose and eardrum were broken. And Rocky Lockridge, the new IBF champion, hearing it from the crowd, will be back here in England in just a moment. Ultimately, statements by Barry Michael, who mentioned to you a moment ago that he wants to become a boxing promoter, that is it for his career.
Much safer physically, if not financially.
Taking a look at the scorecard right through the 8th round, and the fight was stopped after the 8th round. One judge had it 78-73 for Lockridge. One had it 77-75, and then a decisive 80-73 in favor of Rocky Lockridge.
Which is how I had it. I had it 80-73. I thought that he dominated the fight, did Rocky Lockridge. And while Barry Michael gambled that the other one was going to get tired, in the end, the gamble didn't prove fit. And, of course, Barry Michael could not take that kind of punishment. I think that was an intelligent thing on his part to stop. He didn't need another round of pounding like that. I wish more people would do that.
Well, he was fighting for the most part with a broken nose and also a broken eardrum, as he revealed during the course of your interview. Very difficult chore indeed.
Difficult, painful, and hard to keep your mind on your business, and especially when the man that's doing that is inflicting even more punishment on you all along the way. I thought that, once again, the only thing that could have happened. He quit in the corner, and quit is not the right word. He resigned. And resigned, good. Yes, the feeling is that next for Rocky Lockridge will be either Johnny De La Rosa or Barry McGuigan. I think he has to fight Johnny De La Rosa unless the IBF lets him fight Barry McGuigan. McGuigan has a lot of personal difficulties right now, and once those are ironed out, it'll be either fighter. I believe it'll be Johnny De La Rosa.
All right, so for the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, Marv